February 21st of 2003, I left the penitentiary. I came out of there with nothing. And thank you, Jobs for Youth. You guys, they teach you so much there. I didn't know how to dress, get a resume going, and they were there for me. And I got a job doing something I like.
What I've known now, I could take the information and use it in the future.
They teach you life skills.
It really changed my life.
For over 30 years, Jobs for Youth has been a part of our community, providing futures to lives of Chicago's low-income youth. We provide much more than job training. We change lives. We give our young people hope, and we make an impact in our community. Jobs for Youth, or JFY, began in 1980 when Jack Connolly was hired as executive director. JFY began as a very small agency with a handful of employees when it opened its doors in 1979. In its earliest days, JFY only served high school dropouts, offering a single half-day of training before sending enrollees on job interviews. JFY made less than 100 job placements during its first 12 months of operation, and most of these were with fast food chains and small retail stores. By the early 1990s, JFY had grown to be the largest organization of its kind in the country. The agency was recognized for outstanding service by many civic and government organizations, ranging from United Way to the White House. The well-paying hiring employers now included banks and other financial services firms, accounting firms, various corporate headquarters, major department stores, hospitals, and a host of airline and airport service businesses.
Since the very beginning over 30 years ago, the Jobs for Youth mission has been to empower young adults from low-income families to become a self-sufficient part of the economic mainstream, and also to provide the Chicago business community with motivated, job-ready workers. Last year alone, we placed over 400 individuals in life-changing jobs. When you put 400 individuals in a job, you create 400 individuals with a greater sense of self-worth and self-value. You create 400 families that are stronger and have a deeper basis of stability. You create dozens of neighborhoods that are safer because these are no longer disaffected youth on the street. And when you factor in the fact that our graduates over the last 5 years have taken over $40 million of their earnings back into some of the most disadvantaged neighborhoods of the city, you can see that these young adults are an agent of change. They're changing their communities and they're strengthening their neighborhoods.
JFY offers a number of services, including work readiness life skills training workshops, which include both basic computer literacy and basic financial literacy training, along with career development coaching and employment readiness training. We work with nearly 300 Chicago area employers that rely on JFY to help meet their needs for qualified entry-level employees. A GED program for school dropouts, supportive services to provide individual counseling on career and life issues, referral to sources of specialized assistance if needed, and intervention to help resolve problems that occur in the home or on the job, and post-placement follow-up for at least 2 years to promote employment retention and facilitate longer-term job growth.
Our graduates include managers in some of Chicago's leading corporations, talented entrepreneurs, and community leaders. People who, with our support, have worked very hard to create a better life for themselves and for their families. It is with great pride and affection that I would love to introduce one of our graduates right now, Jasper Robinson.
My stepfather's the man that raised me. He was sentenced to 20 years in prison for soliciting drugs. I, in turn, had the burden of kind of taking care of myself, my brother, and my mother. So what I did was I got a part-time job while I was in school to kind of help out with the bills, but it just didn't seem enough. It just didn't make it. So that's when I made the biggest mistake of my life. I did what I seen my stepfather do for years. I myself began to solicit drugs. Within a year's time, I was convicted and sentenced to Cook County boot camp. I spent 1 year total incarcerated, 8 months in Cook County jail, and 4 months in the Cook County boot camp. The day before I went to boot camp, the worst thing in my life happened. My brother, who was 13 years of age at the time, He was beaten to death on the street. 13 years old. Just kind of changed my life. But when my own motivation is enough, I think about my brother. I think about that my brother won't be able to, go to high school, drive a car, get married, go to college, have a career, have a family. So I know he won't do that. So in turn, I take that, and that's kind of my motivation to make it in life. After boot camp, I knew it would be hard to get a job. I went into my school's website, Harold Washington, where I was attending at the time, and I seen a link for Jobs for Youth. So I filled out the application on there just to do it, just to see, if anything could turn out from that. Jobs for Youth called me. They asked me to come in, sit down, take a test. The workshop was only a couple weeks long. We learned how to manage money. We learned how to do cover letters. I have never done a cover letter before. Even sharpen and enhance our computer skills. I started off as an executive assistant. I had another opportunity that happened, and I became the general manager of LaSalle Power Company. I'm the person that runs the show. I mean, Jobs for Youth really gave me that end that I needed. If you're looking for help, if you're having hard luck in life and you're looking for a place and opportunity, Jobs for Youth is it. If you want it, if you want the help, they'll give it to you.
Please join us in helping to make the youth of Chicago even more vital and productive. Come see our young people in action. I know you'll be impressed. Thank you.